Hi friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a flip through of the 3 curriculum choices that I have chosen for my 3.5-year-old daughter who is currently being preschooled at home. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Linnell. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm a full-time working general physician and so is my husband. And this year we decided to continue our daughter's education at home. So she is 3.5 and we are preschooling her right here in home. Typically 3.5 is a little bit early, I would say, to start teaching, but because of the daycare that my daughter went to school with, they did a really good job in terms of introducing numbers and letters, and she is fascinated by it. She loves doing her numbers and her ABC, and she has an aptitude for it. She loves doing it. So I decided I would continue with the momentum that we already have and hopefully help her continue to do well in those areas. And so because of that, we were keeping it pretty basic. I decided to do just math and phonics, and I think that as you know, life continues, as she helps me cook in the kitchen, clean around the house, as we go on walks, as we read lots and lots of good books, then we will definitely get some science and history and social studies and all of that going on. I decided against doing anything with respect to handwriting because we have quite a few of those handwriting practice books, as well as the curriculums that we chose for math and for writing. They do quite a bit of handwriting exercises, so I did not do anything additional for that. Without further ado, let's get into the curriculum choices. So first off the list, I both language arts and math with the good and the beautiful, and the reason why I chose that is because based on the reviews that I saw on YouTube, the flip throughs that I saw on YouTube, it looked like a curriculum that was very hands-on, very open and go, that I did not have to do much preparation beforehand. The pages of the book, as you will see, are very beautiful, very engaging, and every time I pull it out, it just captures her attention and she really wants to learn. So I chose the good and the beautiful for language arts and mathematics. And then I also heard really good things about Teach Your Child to Read in 100 lessons, and so I decided to grab that as well. Alright, so first on the list, let's go through Teach Your Child to Read in 100 easy lessons. So I heard really good things from multiple moms that are in the homeschooling community on YouTube and Instagram that this was a really good book, and so I decided to give it a try. I figured if it didn't work, that's fine, we could also do something else. So first of all, the book comes with an overview of the program, and so it guides you through a little bit of an introduction. First, you will see it tries to guide you through the book in terms of who is the book for, at what age should you start doing it with your child. It also explains some of the activities that are in the book. So there are games like Say It Fast and rhyming and Say the sounds. It explains those, and I think that it is worth taking the 10 to 15 minutes to read the introduction and the practice guide before you begin, so that you know what you're getting yourself into, and so while you're teaching your child, most of the material is familiar. After the introduction, it starts off with the lessons. Now, the lesson is not very pretty in the sense that there's not a lot of pictures, there's not a lot of illustrations. It is a lot of words. But so far, we have done the first 3 lessons, I would say, and it has been very well received, very well received. They're very short. The first few lessons are about, I would say, 7 minutes long, and they involve very basic stuff. So for example, this first lesson, this is lesson number 1. It has 6 tasks. The last one is optional, and then the first one is an introduction to sound, and so they teach you to sound the letter M, and there are various ways. So they ask you to say it slow, and then they ask you to do it fast, and then they do the same thing for the letter S. And then what I found that I really enjoyed was that they are teaching them to blend without actually teaching them how to blend. So they have words like, for example, ice cream. You're supposed to say ice cream and ask the child to say it fast. So instead of saying ice cream like you did, they say ice cream. And I find that such a really good way of teaching how to blend sounds. So my daughter knows the sounds for all of the alphabets, but as I started teaching her blending, I thought that was a bit more of a difficult concept for her to grasp. And as I did some research into that, a lot of people say that blending is one of the hardest things to teach a child when it comes to reading. But I find if you do it with words that they already know and you teach them how to say it slow and then you teach them how to say it fast, then I feel like they would grab the concept very quickly, which my daughter is doing very well so far. So they have the first 3 lessons introducing the sounds S and M, and on lesson 4, actually lesson 3, they're already introducing blending sounds together. So in lesson 3, they started with the sounds A. They had already gone through S and M, so now they introduce A, and by lesson 3 they're trying to get them to blend the sounds A and M together. I found that this method so far has been really good, and I guess I can do a review of it after we have finished the entire book, and I will talk about how effective I thought it was and how well we were able to learn how to read using this book. So this is how the lessons continue. They are very short and they introduce sounds. So if you know anything about sounds and teaching kids the alphabet, a lot of schools of thought when they refer to reading prefer that you teach the child the sound of the letter as opposed to the name of the letter. And there are some schools of thought that prefer you teach certain letters of the alphabet and not necessarily in order. So this book follows that train of thought. So it introduces letters that can make a word even before they know the entire alphabet. So for example, the first few letters they introduced were M, A, and S. And so you can make the sound am, you can make the word am, you can make the word Sam. So before the child even knows the entire alphabet, they're able to put sounds together and able to read words. So that is like the introduction of the book. If I were to go a little higher up, quarter way through, the first thing that I noticed is that they've already started doing sentences. So for example, this is lesson 18. So if you're doing a lesson every day or 5 days a week, in 3 weeks they will be doing a short sentence. So for example, in lesson 18 we have lots of words: this, that, rat, Sam. And here in task 5, this is when you actually start to read, and they have Sam is mad. And so if you notice, this sentence, Sam is mad at me, is a sentence actually, and it only consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So if the child knows the sound of 6 letters and they know how to blend, then they're fully capable of reading, and that's how it goes. So that is maybe about a quarter way through. Halfway through the lesson, so lesson 50, they're doing sound introductions to sounds such as SH, TH, CH, F, P, and H. And so there are a lot more complicated words like hair, ran, sand, hope, pot, dog, airs, and then they have a short paragraph that they should be able to read if they are able to do the sounds of all of the things that they have learned so far. I think this is very interesting, and I'm eager to see how my daughter responds to this curriculum, Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And obviously when we are done with this book, I will give a full review in terms of how I found it, whether it was hard, whether it was difficult, whether it was feasible for a 3.5-year-old to go through, and whether she was able to read or not. So next we have Math K. Now if you notice, I said I am preschooling my daughter, but this curriculum is Math K, which stands for kindergarten. However, each of the curriculums from The Good and the Beautiful, if you go to their website to order a curriculum, each of them have an assessment that they ask that you do to the child to see whether they're capable of fulfilling the curriculum. So I did the assessment for Math K and she was able to do it just fine. So I was pretty sure that the curriculum would be slightly above her level where she's able to complete the task, but she would still find some of it challenging. So we've done just a few lessons so far. We have done, I think, about 3 lessons, and it's just what I expected. So the first lesson starts out very basic. They go through numbers 1 to 3. They revise colors that the child should already know. They do some handwriting of those numbers and some coloring, and so far she has really enjoyed it. I don't find it's too challenging for her. I'm pretty sure that as the curriculum goes forward, it will increase as well. But this particular curriculum has 120 lessons, and it consists of 3 units. So unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 each have an assessment at the end. So even though it is 120 lessons, it's actually 120 minus 3, because each unit at the end of the unit has an assessment that you can give the child to assess whether they really are grasping the concepts that you are teaching them. In the beginning of the book, they give you a short introduction about the course. So they tell you what you need, and they give you an idea of what the lessons are like. Have some frequently asked questions. How do I get started? How long are the lessons? It says here that the lessons take 12 minutes, which I find to be true. In fact, some of the lessons take even shorter than that, depending on the capability of the child. Is MathK a spiral or mastery program? It says MathK is mainly a spiral curriculum, consistently reviewing concepts your student has learned to ensure he or she understands and retains the information. So if you're new to homeschooling, which I am too myself, I have learned that spiral and mastery are different types of programs. So spiral meaning that, you know, like it goes in a spiral round and round, so they keep coming back to concepts that they've already done. Mastery, for example, is if they're doing numbers 1 to 5, numbers 1 to 5 will be numbers 1 to 5 for like the first week, the first 2 weeks, the first 3 weeks, until they've mastered numbers 1 to 5, and then they move on to a new concept. So the Good and the Beautiful is apparently a spiral program. Do you include any specific doctrine? It says no, the goal of the curriculum is not to teach doctrines. All right, so I want to show you what the lessons look like. This is lesson number 1. So for the Good and the Beautiful, you will notice that the print is in blue and the print is in black. So in blue, if it says something in blue, it means that you're supposed, this is what the parentheses say, which is what a curriculum means when it's open and go. So open and go means that you don't have to do any prep. They tell you what to say, they tell you how to say it, and so that way you really are in control of what is going on and what's being done. So for example, it says here, read to the child. Did you know that you need math to design for a fork or a pillow? Math is needed to design almost everything you use every day. There are also math patterns all around us in nature. So the parts in black are what you say to the child, and the parts in blue is what you read, and it gives you instructions. Here they have a drawing activity where they were supposed to draw flowers according to the number on the pot. Here they got a bit of practice for numbers 1, 2, and 3. So they were supposed to trace and then do it on their own. And then here they have another counting activity where they count the items and circle the number that it corresponded to. So the MathK curriculum comes with a MathK box. So this is the MathK box. And here you have the number dice. Here you have 3 cards. They each have the numbers on them. There's 3, 1, 2, and 3. 2 pawns for playing games. And you have counting sticks here. And so for example, in this activity, you needed the cars. And so it asked you to drive the car, let's say, so you'd have to say, for example, drive the car to number 1, and the child would take the car and drive the car to number 1, etc., etc. So that way it's interactive, it's playful, and they have an opportunity to not just write and read and feel like they're bored, but they're playing games while learning at the same time. And that's one of the things that I really liked about this curriculum. All right, so let's flip through to lesson number 10, and I'm just flipping through some of the lessons so you have an idea of the progression. So in lesson number 10, the first part here is usually a revision topic, and here it asks for the child to count from 1 to 20 and memorize a parent's phone number. And in this particular lesson, they're doing ordinal numbers, so they're introducing the child to first, second, third, fourth, and fifth place, and as well as they're doing numbers. So here they're writing the numbers 8 and 9, and I also see that they're revising shapes, so the shape circle here. And that's it for lesson 10. So some lessons are just 1 page, others are 2, some are 3. I think the maximum you will find is a 3 lesson page. So let's go to lesson 30. Lesson 30 is like maybe quarter way through the curriculum, and here you have a 2-page lesson. It says 1 more or 1 less, part 1. So in the practice items, you want the child to practice writing numbers 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 on the whiteboard. They do recommend that you have a whiteboard close by. They have the Days of the Week song, that The Good and the Beautiful. They have a YouTube channel. They also have an app. And so they have like the ABC song, they have Days of the Week songs that you can play for the child, which integrates another form of learning, another method or pattern of learning for the child. So instead of always doing bookwork or worksheets, they also can learn from the videos and the songs that are available on the app or the YouTube channel. So lesson 60 is equal and not equal, and it's actually a 2-page lesson. And so here you're introducing the child to what's equal and what's not. So for example, here they have to draw the amount of tally marks that's equal to what's here, and here they have to do it for what's not equal. And then on this page here, there's a lovely illustration, and on the opposite side, it's a national park road trip game where you use the car and you use the dice, and you're supposed to visit different sites found in the national park, and you're supposed to say whether it's equal or not equal to whatever you roll the number on the dice. So for example, you roll the dice, you get number 6, but you're here on the campsite number 7, you roll the dice at number 7. If it comes up to number 6, the child is supposed to say whether it's equal or not equal to number 7. Let's go to what they'll be doing towards the end of the lesson. So this looks interesting. This is lesson 114. It's towards the end. So if you do 3 lessons every week, let's say you do 4 lessons every week, that means at the end of 5 weeks you would have done 20 lessons. And so it takes about a month and a half, I would say, to do 20 lessons. And there are about 6 bunches of 20 lessons, so I would say it takes about 30 weeks to do the entire book if you're doing 4 lessons every week, which is not bad. It means that it takes an entire year to get up to this stage. They're doing symmetry. They have some really nice illustrations here, and I guess that they're gonna ask the child whether the images are symmetric or not. And then in the lesson 115, we have time, and it says time part 5. So this is not the first introduction to time. This is probably the 5th one, and it seems that they're doing 12 a.m., the difference between 12 a.m. and the difference between 12 p.m. So one of the things I like about this curriculum is how colorful the pages are, how beautiful the illustrations are done, and I think that is very engaging, and it beckons the child to want to learn and think that they're doing something fun, something interesting, something engaging. All right, so last on the list is our kindergarten prep course book. So like I was telling you guys earlier, each of the course books or the curriculums for the Good and the Beautiful, they have an assessment, and when there's a pre-curriculum, there's a kindergarten prep, and then there's K. However, I did not think that Bella was ready for the K curriculum, and she was definitely past the preschool. And so luckily there is a kindergarten prep. We started this one. Again, I feel like it's very accessible for her age, and the lessons are very short. They're 1 or 2 pages. Again, they're very colorful, very engaging. The illustrations are very beckoning, and so she enjoys doing the curriculums. So today, for example, we did lesson number 2. The first lesson was a lesson in pencil control. So they were teaching her how to hold a pencil. Then we did counterclockwise circles, and then we did a short lesson on rhyming words, and then we matched uppercase letters to lowercase letters, and that was the end of the lesson. She asked to do more, but I did not want to push it, so we did not go ahead and do more letters. This prep book comes with cards. So for example, we have flashcards that has the letters that you can punch them out. I haven't come across a lesson where I need them yet, so I have not pulled them out. And then you also have these like prints at the back here, which are used for games for the kids to play with. And of course there are instructions along the book. So this course book is only 30 lessons because it's supposed to be prep and an introduction to the kindergarten curriculum. And so I don't think, because we're doing the teach your child to read in 100 lessons, I don't think I will be doing the prep course every single day. So we'll probably do one or the other every. And then if we do finish this one and we still have a lot of time for the rest of the year, then I'll probably get the kindergarten curriculum. And so in order to be able to do this prep course, the child needs to know the name and the sound of most of the letters of the alphabet, because if you'll notice in the very first course, lesson 1, they go over the vowels. So we did that 2 or 3 days ago, where we did the vowels. So if your child is not familiar with the alphabet, if they're not familiar with the sounds, then this is not the course that you should be getting. This is for a child who knows the sounds of the alphabet, most of them, even if they have not mastered it, because the idea of the course is that by the time that they're finished with this course, they should have mastered the letters of the alphabet. So lesson 1, they did vowels as well as the beginning sounds. And lesson 10, for example, we see that they're continuing along the lines of the vowels, but they're blending sounds. So for example, they're blending the sound F with all of the letters of the alphabet: fa, fe, fi, fo, fu, right? And they're doing the same thing on the other side with the letter S. So if you notice the difference between teach your child to read, they are doing the common letters first, so F, M, S, T, A, and here they're starting out with the vowels and then they blend it with other familiar letters. So let's look at the last lesson, what the last lesson entails and what they should be able to do by the end that they're done with this course. So lesson 30 is actually a course assessment. So let's just go to lesson 28. And by lesson 28, they should be able to read the letters in this box here. So you have ox, if, and at. And we have a short sentence here which says, it is an ox. So by the time that they're done with this prep course, it seems like they should be able to read very short sentences. All right, so that is the curriculum that we decided to go with. If you are interested in seeing any other material that we'll be using throughout our homeschool year, I will have my homeschool haul video linked in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.